has warned that it may soon exit the nuclear deal that is known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. We're hearing from the Iranian Deputy Foreign Minister, who says it is clear that the future of the deal now hangs in the balance.
I told the conference today that the JCPOA is in the intensive care unit because it has lost its balance as a result of the US withdrawal from the deal.
The Iranian Deputy Foreign Minister was speaking to the press in Vienna, where the remaining signatories are meeting to try and salvage what at the time was termed a landmark agreement. But what we are hearing from Tehran is they're insisting on some kind of assurances from those remaining signatories, and the most notable among them being Europe, that there will be amendments put in place to offset the negative impact of Washington withdrawing. It was back in May that the American President Donald Trump decided to ditch the deal. It's a deal that was several years in the making. It was a deal that Trump has called the worst deal, or one of the worst deals, that America has ever signed off on. And since his election campaign, he promised that he was going to withdraw from the deal. Not only has he withdrawn from it, but he's also announced that he's reimposing sanctions against Iran, and at the same time has vowed to come down even harder on the Islamic Republic. And this is despite the fact that there are warnings that doing so could have dire consequences. Now, since then, Europe has been scrambling and trying hard to convince the Iranians that they remain committed to the deal. But what we're certainly hearing from Tehran is skepticism as to whether or not Europe can offer something of real interest. And what this essentially means is that the prospect of Iran withdrawing from the nuclear agreement is becoming ever and ever more imminent.
Last hour, I got reaction from political communication professor Fawaz Izadi at Tehran University, who says there could be very serious repercussions if the deal is completely abandoned.
It may actually lead to a war. That's why both Iran and Europe are interested to saving the agreement. But if the agreement is finished totally after U.S. withdrawal, then the conflicts that we already have in the Middle East are going to increase. And I think the reason Iran's Deputy Foreign Minister talked about JCPOA, the nuclear agreement, being under the intensive care is basically an attempt to push Europe to actually work harder to make sure that Iran is able to stay. What Iran has been saying is that you can have sanctions or you can have Iran's nuclear program limitations, but you cannot have both. You cannot have Iran limiting its nuclear program and have the sanctions at the same time. You cannot have your cake and eat it too. That's basically Iran's argument, and people in Iran hoping that Europe will actually do what they need to do.
Consumer internet businesses are about exploiting psychology. And that is one where you want to fail fast because, you know, people are unpredictable, and so we want to psychologically figure out how to manipulate you as fast as possible and then give you back that dopamine hit. We did that brilliantly at Facebook. Instagram has done it, WhatsApp has done it, you know, Snapchat has done it, Twitter has done it. So there are great examples. WeChat is doing it. There are great examples of failing fast is the right path to exploiting psychology of mass populations of people. I feel tremendous guilt. I think we all knew in the back of our minds, even though we feigned this whole line of like there probably aren't any really bad unintended consequences. I think in the back, deep recesses of our minds, we kind of knew something bad could happen. But I think the way we defined it was not like this.
Tonight here, a warning about Facebook and what some believe it's doing to kids. The warning comes from two of the company's earliest executives. Carter Evans is following this.
We kind of knew something bad could happen.
Chamath Palihapitiya, a former Facebook executive once in charge of user growth, now says he has tremendous guilt about the social network he helped build.
We have created tools that are ripping apart the social fabric of how society works.
And it's influencing the next generation. Studies show 92% of teens go online daily, and 1 in 5 young people regularly wake up in the night to send or check messages on social media.
People need to hard break from some of these tools and the things that you rely on. The short-term dopamine-driven feedback loops that we have created are destroying how society works. No civil discourse, no cooperation, misinformation, mistruth. Bad actors can now manipulate large swaths of people to do anything you want.
He's not.
And this is what Google did to the California GOP, as Vice pointed out. They said less than a week before the California primary, Google listed Nazism as the ideology of the California Republican Party. I'm sure that was just a coincidence, don't you think? We're going to talk about how their excuse comes up as to how that happened. But when you look at that, you Google the California Republican Party, just like, you Google InfoWars, oh, this is a fake news conspiracy website or something like that. They like to do those types of labels. That's what they're doing with YouTube. Back in mid-March, that's what the lady who is head of the CEO of YouTube said at South by Southwest here in Austin. She said, oh, yeah, we're going to start putting up information that will tag individual groups and institutions, individuals and institutions and so forth, and we'll say, oh, this is what they're really about. And where are they going to get that information from? Oh, they're going to get it from people like Wikipedia, Southern Poverty Law Center, Snopes. Oh, they don't have a political agenda at all, do they? You think Wikipedia doesn't have a political agenda? We'll talk about that because they're at the center of all this. And the knowledge panel that comes up when you Google this provides easy access and a summary, next to the results. And so they label the Republican Party of California first and foremost as Nazis. That's the.
All right, so I just wanted to play a little bit out in the beginning here. I wanted to show you a number of things that sort of show you what is going on in our society. You have here Google removes "Don't be evil" clause. So they've gotten away from their "Don't be evil" clause, and they're going to say instead, "Do the right thing." This is what they changed it to: "Do the right thing." Okay, so if you think about that, why did they do that? Obviously, "Don't be evil." Are they in a sense admitting that they're being evil with what they've been doing of recent? Labeling people incorrectly? Isn't this what we saw with 1984? Changing the meanings of words so that you can control society, you can control how they think, you can control what they're able to see. And we see here that they're saying to do the right thing. Now, what is do the right thing? Do the right thing in their own eyes. Do an agenda. This is an agenda-driven statement. They're saying that they're going to push their agenda. And here, they're actually saying instead, don't push their agenda. And this is why people have been calling out as being hypocritical, is because they have been evil. They've been pushing their agenda onto people. And now they want to get away with that and be able to just say, do the right thing. Just slightly change what it is, right? And of course, they've been unsubscribing people. And here on YouTube, I'm going to get that in a minute here, but I wanted to first cover what is going on with their society. How insane has it become? And you're going to see some very strange evidence here. Let me show you this video clip of just imagine back 10 years ago, people were not this crazy acting. Is social media really driving this insanity? Just watch this and let me know what you guys think in the comment section below.
Tolerant liberals. Liberals demand tolerance from everyone else around them, virtually everyone else that they deem to be a marginalized group. So how can liberals be some of the most intolerant people in action? Death threats, physical assaults, actual sexism, actual discrimination. These are examples of tolerant liberals. How can liberals demand tolerance when they don't actually practice what they preach? Liberals believe that President Trump colluded with the Russians to steal the 2016 presidential election. When asked what the evidence is, most liberals say it's still under investigation. In our court of law, investigations are supposed to be based on some sort of evidence. How can they believe he's guilty when no evidence has come out? Drumpf, not Trump, Drumpf is the literal embodiment of Hitler. And we should
right, and you see there how they call anything outside of their paradigm. And we're not even talking about Trump. You don't even have to like him. It really has nothing to do with him. He's become the boogeyman for the left. So he is akin to what we just see here on the screen, right? The magic word. He is akin to that, and anything that's outside of their ideology is that. And you don't even have to agree with Trump. You can be completely thinking completely different than him on many issues, and it wouldn't matter because he's the boogeyman, and you're not towing the line. You're not agreeing with their ideology, so you're one of them. You're one of the bad guys, and that gives them an excuse to do bad things. They can attack you, they can hit you, they can lie about you, they can do whatever they want. And this is what we're seeing happening in society, and this is what we're seeing here on YouTube. We're seeing now that they're actually, I've just seen a number of videos from different creators saying that they're having a hard time getting their videos to their subscribers because of this new feature where you get they've changed the subscribe feature to where it can be occasionally notified with the bell, never notified with the bell, always notified with the bell. Of course, at first, the subscribe feature meant you were literally subscribed to the channel. You'd literally get stuff in your feed. Now, what's going on is they've been messing with the subscription page. So they're not going to show you everything in your, like, let's say you're subscribed to 20 people here on YouTube or 20 whatever YouTube channels. You're not going to get all those videos anymore because even in the subscribe feed, they've decided whether or not they want to show you a video. And it's completely arbitrary to what they think is good. You know, they're doing the right thing, of course. They're not being evil anymore. Or they're actually being evil, they're just doing the right thing. And evil in other people's sight, right? So they're agenda driven. So you can't actually get what you subscribe to. Even if you put on bell notification, they've also made it where it can be occasional or all the time. And even if you get hit all the time, I don't think you necessarily get them all the time unless you're very active on the channel. And this is what these guys have been saying. I saw this guy saying it, Pockets for the Future. I saw Vigilant Christian. They both came out with a video almost the exact same time. And actually, some other channels as well have been talking about this, that a lot of people are not getting their videos anymore. They're getting unsubscribed from channels. Essentially, if you're not on a channel watching it avidly, they're going to unsubscribe you. And I'm guessing if you're a channel they don't like, you're going to get unsubscribed from much quicker than channels they do like. Maybe you'll never get unsubscribed from a channel they like. You see what I'm getting at? So it's a push. It's an ideological push, and this is a mind control. I was showing you how these people are attacking other people. They're acting freaking crazy. We have all this weird stuff going on in society. I can't literally say all the words, but I'm pretty sure you can think of a few things. We got a few things going on here. A man's no longer a man, you know, that kind of stuff. This is total manipulation of the mind from social media. Did any of this stuff happen thousands of years ago? Did any of this stuff happen hundreds of years ago? No. Why is it happening right now? What has changed? What has changed is social media has entered into the mix. There's, of course, a lot of other things you can point at as well. We have GMOs. We have food that's been modified. We have things being rained down upon us. We have a lot of weird stuff going on these days, which were not happening maybe 200 years ago. Could this be some sort of control mechanism that we see being put upon us? And I think it's obviously the case. Now, I saw this too. I thought this was kind of interesting. Pink Floyd resist the attempted silencing of this particular person. I think it's very interesting that it was Pink Floyd that said this, because he was all about rebelling against the system. Well, the system is pretending to not be the system when it really is the system. You know what I mean? The system wants you to just believe whatever they say in the mainstream media. Just don't question anything. They want you to just go along with their program. And if you don't go along with the program, you could lose your job, you could lose your livelihood. Who knows? It could be a lot of things. And I wanted to show you this because this also shows you just how brainwashed society is. This is an alleged scientist talking here. Just listen to some of the stuff she says. It's just batshit, you know what.
Come along and see what we're learning and see how it changes your life. And I mean that. Your life will be changed when you learn the things that we know for the better. It's not okay to think that the earth is flat. apparently this is something that we're debating. I have no idea why. You know, I'm one of these people that doesn't like to identify as a specific gender even. You know, I mean, I can deal with human. I'm one of these people that doesn't like to identify as a specific gender even. You know, I mean, I can deal with human. And so you have this one tiny little chance to have the universe look through your eyes. And what are you going to do with that chance? And what I do, I connect to people too hard. I have sex with all the wrong people.
Ignorant slut.
It's not okay to say that the earth is flat. I keep getting this question. There's no such thing as life, really, that we're very complicated rocks. We're a chemical reaction that got complex enough to become conscious.
All right, so this isn't about flat earth because I'm actually not a flat earther, but a lot of the other things she was saying there, I mean, just the fact that people don't question NASA, for example, because I question NASA all the time. I think there's a lot of fakery going on there, and I've had a lot of evidence in different videos I've shown over the years. We should be questioning what they're telling us. When you have a government organization telling you something, you should question it. I'm not saying you need to go with a certain ideology or something, or a certain belief on the shape of whatever, but she believes it hook, line, and sinker to the point of thinking we're literally rocks walking around. We're rocks. We're not human beings. We're not created. We're just rocks. We just randomly became sentient beings and just walk around and do stuff now. And of course, you can see the brainwashing. I mean, that, of course, is not something you can easily see as brainwashing, because most of society is like, oh, of course, we're evolution, right? But then you got also this whole gender thing now. She even questions that now. This shows you how society is so controlled on a mental level that she can't even understand such simple things. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, you can't question anything. Going along with the program is like crazy. Going along with what they just tell us to believe is crazy at this point. I mean, look at what they're pushing in society. Look what they're pushing. It is not something that was around for hundreds of years ago. Even 100 years ago, this stuff wasn't around. Most of the stuff they're pushing in society today is recent. And of course, they claim it's just obvious facts. We have a huge amount of manipulation going on. You can see how people are. They don't even see it. They don't even notice that they're being completely brainwashed with things that they're taught, things that are given to them in social media. They're so controlled by what they believe and read in social media that they act upon it, and they even act irrationally, attacking people. It's just really crazy if you think about it. It shows you how much control there is through such things. And of course, that's why they don't like certain types of people bucking the system or telling you information that counters what they're saying. All right. I just wanted to kind of cover some of this here. Hopefully you learned something, and maybe I've opened your mind a little bit. Thanks for watching.